You're on video. Will you stop growling at the neighbors? Because you're on video. Look at everybody instead, Cosmo. Hi. Analisa Six here with the Lady of Leisure and the Sober Curator to bring you the December 2024 horoscope for the zodiac sign of Sagittarius for sun and rising placements. Cosmo is feeling very overwhelmed and stressed out because we have a lot of construction going on in the apartment building. Well, not in, but on the apartment building. And he already is pretty noise sensitive to my neighbors coming and going. And I really need to work on that training with him. And we have not. And then they decided to do all this construction on the building. And it's just set us way further back. I know, it's okay. He does seem to like it when I do these videos and talk to the screen, though. I feel like it chills him out a little bit sometimes. And I have him sit in my lap, and it's okay. But anyways, hi Sagittarius, happy birthday. It's your season. I have so many Sagittarius dominant people in my life who I absolutely love. And today happens to be one of my best friends' birthdays, Kate. So I don't know if she's going to watch this, but happy birthday to Kate. I love you. You're one of my favorite people in the world. And yeah, I think Sagittarius is just a really fun energy and a fun sign. And I love my mutable fire people. And this is your horoscope for December. So let's get right into it. We start out every December in Sagittarius season, and where Sagittarius hits in the horoscope is the first house, which is the house that has to do with our identity and our perception of self. So right now we have the sun and Mercury and the moon transiting this area of the chart, kicking off December. Now, because the sun and moon are both here on the first, that means that we have a new moon hitting on December 1st in the sign of Sagittarius. I believe for West Coast it hit on the 30th, but for East Coast it hit on December 1st. And so new moons are a really good time for setting intentions around things that we want to call in or manifest. And we have a new moon hitting the first house. It's really positive for us to focus on manifesting around our identity and our relationship to self. So our perception of self and how we're relating to who we are, and kind of the way that we are connecting to self is important. I feel like when I hear myself talking about this, it could be really confusing or vague for people when we're thinking about connection to self. And so I'm just going to give a couple examples, but if you feel a strong need to be codependent and your sense of self-worth is reliant on how other people relate to you or perceive you, or how you're like, whether or not you're in a relationship or things like that, this is an opportunity for you to focus more on how you can build more independence, more autonomy, more self-worth, more self-love. Like that's very much supported during a new moon in the first house. And then Mercury's here, and we start out the month with Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. And so when Mercury's retrograde passing through the first house, we also have an opportunity to reflect, review, and reassess what our relationship to self is. And in the sign of Sagittarius, Sagittarius has a lot to do with our values and belief systems, and also how we want to experience the world. It's got a connection to seeking truth and wisdom, knowledge. It's got a relationship to spiritual seeking or experiences, also a relationship to traveling and, wanting to expand or grow beyond who we are, where we've been. And so this is also a positive time for you to reflect on those themes and ask yourself, kind of, what else do you want to do in your life that kind of pushes you to be more of the person that you want to be? Is there an area that you need to work on, kind of focusing on or kind of putting your energy into that you haven't been, as, focused on? Are other people taking too much time away from the way that you need to relate to yourself? That whole kind of like dating yourself concept is really promoted with these transits here. The other energy that we start out, what are you barking? You hear those noises outside. It's okay. Look, you're on the video. You're on the video right there. You see yourself? I don't think he can perceive. He can't perceive himself. There's a lack of self-awareness you have, mister. The other thing that we start the month out with is Venus in Capricorn. So Venus entered Capricorn last month, And she's been passing through the second house, which is the area of finances. And when Venus is passing through here, it's good. We experience more financial security and abundance. We're also able to take a more practical approach in Capricorn around money. And she's going to be here for the first week of December, and then she's going to enter the fixed air sign of Aquarius. And where this hits in the the Sagittarius horoscope is the third house, which is the house of communication. And, Venus rules relationships. She also has a relationship to our sense of beauty and money and self-worth. Like those are kind of all the things that she has a connection to. And in the third house, in Aquarius, she wants us to learn how to have maybe more of a detached way of relating and communicating, also seeing a bigger picture of how who we are impacts others. Aquarius is the sign of the community. It impacts the 11th house. It really wants us to focus on the group or the whole, or, also takes a more kind of like detached, passive approach to an issue versus, sometimes Sagittarius can really get immersed in the passion, the feelings, the energy of something in a really intense way. And Aquarius is a little bit more like I don't want to say go with the flow because that's not right. It's more logical and practical than getting caught up in the feelings sometimes, and more detached. But they're not go with the flow. Aquarius people can be very not go with the flow. So I'm not saying that. Sagittarius is more go with the flow than Aquarius is. But here Venus is helping us maybe see more ways that we can be practical, logical, and detached in how we perceive a situation, how we communicate, and also be maybe a little bit more selfless in certain situations. We're still in Sagittarius season though, with the sun impacting the first house. So we still are very much focusing on ourselves. The other thing that we experience starting the month out is Mars in Leo, and Mars is going to be stationing retrograde on the same day that Venus enters Aquarius, which is December 6th. Mars has been passing through this month so far since it entered Leo last month, the ninth house, which is the house that Sagittarius traditionally rules. And the ninth house is the house that has to do with long distance travel. It's the house that rules values and beliefs spiritually and religiously. It's the house where we experience the law and publishing. It's also the house where we maybe pursue other education. And when Mars is passing through here, we might, have certain areas that we really want to push towards. Like maybe we want to travel, maybe we want to publish something, maybe we want to go on a spiritual quest and figure out some new thing for ourselves. In Leo too, it could have to do with us wanting to share like something that we know, like sharing knowledge or passing down knowledge just as much as absorbing it. With Mars stationing retrograde, we might experience a little bit of blockages around things that we want to push forward. It might not move forward quite to the extent that we want it to. And this is an opportunity for us to really reflect and review the path that we're on and whether or not the things that we want to push forward are really the right things to push forward. Mars is going to be retrograde until February, and it is going to move back into Cancer. And so it is going to move back into the eighth house, which is the house that has to do with sex, death, rebirth, marriage, assets, taxes, shared resources. And then once it stations direct, it'll finish its time up in Cancer and then move back into Leo in April. It's not going to leave Leo until June. So this eighth, ninth house area, Mars is going to be hitting for the Sagittarius dominant for the horoscope for the whole first half of the year. So what that means is that you have a lot to revisit around eighth house themes, and then how that impacts the way that you move forward in life and how you grow and evolve, and the beliefs and the values that you have are going to go through a lot of changing and a lot of transformation during this time. And there's going to be a lot of ego reflection, a lot of humbling, that needs to happen for the Sagittarius dominant. And, it's going to push you into the next stage of development for growth, because when Mars leaves Leo, it'll enter Virgo and go into that 10th house of career. So there's going to be some things that change, that are going to require you to approach problems in a new way. So yeah, we're all under this Mars transit, and it's going to be a pretty interesting time for a lot of us. I will say the first 6 months of 2025 are going to be a lot. It's going to be intense for sure. The other thing that happens around the 6th is Neptune stationing direct in Pisces. This is the last time that we will have experienced a Pisces retrograde with Neptune in our lifetime before it enters Aries. And so with Neptune entering Aries next year, we can really reflect on the last 15 years that we've had Neptune in Pisces. And that's kind of what this Neptune retrograde was about, was reflection. And Neptune in Pisces has been transiting the 4th house, which is the house of home and family for the Sagittarius horoscope. And now it's stationing direct. So, you're working through some more ancestral things around that and your relationship to home and family. The next transit that I'm going to talk about for the horoscope is on the 15th of December. We're going to have a full moon at 23 degrees of Gemini, and Mercury is going to station direct. So full moon's a great time for releasing and letting go, and also setting intentions towards things that we want to manifest. Now, the sun and the moon make an opposition when we have a full moon. So the sun is still going to be in the 1st house, but the moon is going to be in the 7th house. And that axis of 1st and 7th house brings up themes around autonomy versus relationship, the self versus the other. And by versus, I don't mean in conflict. I just mean polarity of opposites and how they're existing apart and together. And so with this full moon, we have an opportunity to really think about who we are as an individual, and then who we are in our close relationships with others, whether that's, romantic, work, or friend, it's all kind of partnership dynamics. And so, you could be in a place where there's certain ideas or perceptions or relational kind of qualities that you're wanting to release and let go of. It's not serving you. Maybe there's a relationship that needs to end. Maybe there's, a conversation that needs to happen for something to transmute or change. Like that can all be a theme. There can also be manifestation aspects. So it's like if you want to set intentions around things that you want to manifest within personal relationship dynamics, that's also really supported during this time. Those are all themes for this full moon. And then Mercury stations direct in the 1st house, which is that house of identity. So you might also be in a position in a relationship dynamic of knowing maybe more of what you want to say or how you want to assert yourself in that dynamic moving forward. After that, the sun is going to leave Sagittarius. So we're going to say goodbye to Sagittarius season. And on the 21st, the sun will move into Capricorn and highlight the area of the chart that has to do with money. And so the sun here, highlights money in all ways, material stability, our relationship to finances, also our relationship to self-worth. And, here we're able to take a practical approach to our finances, and hopefully, it's a good working hard energy if you want to generate more business or make more money in some way. So that's very much highlighted. And then on December 30th, we have a new moon at 9 degrees of Capricorn here. And this is also really positive energy for setting intentions around money manifestation work. So if you know that there's a certain way that you need to relate to money, make money, have money, also your self-worth around money, this new moon at the end of December is a great time to set those intentions and tell the universe exactly what it is you want to manifest into the new year. All right, Sagittarius, that's all I'm going to talk about. If you want more about December, I do have a astrology forecast at the top of this playlist where I go through each individual transit of the month. If you liked this video, please feel free to share it with friends. Hit the like, subscribe button if you would like to get notified on when I post these. I try to post these every single month. And you can find me at theladyofleisure.com or the sobercurator.com. I will have that in the description box. And I will see you all in the new year. Happy holidays.